Okay, well, welcome back. This is another video talking about using Microsoft Word. In this particular case, we're going to do something a little special. Sometime in your academic career, you're probably going to have to write an honest-to-God research paper. And there's, lots of different formatting requirements for different types of papers that you write. The one that I'm most familiar with is the APA file format. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tailor this entire segment as if you're writing an APA paper. So I'm not really teaching APA style, but on the other hand, I really kind of sort of am. What I'm supposed to be doing, of course, is showing you how to tweak Microsoft Word to make it easier to prepare a document that meets the APA document requirements. Cool? Okay, let's begin. So obviously we're going to start with opening Microsoft Word. Gee, what a surprise. Okay, so now I have me a Word document that's blank. One of the first things I'm going to do is, instead of going through here like we did before, we had some text and then we selected it and went in and changed all sorts of things about it. We changed the font, we changed the size, we changed the color, blah, 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 blah. That's not what I'm going to do this time. What I'm going to do this time is, before I even start doing any typing whatsoever, I'm going to tell the machine what I want. Okay? And so this across here is a series of styles. And so I'm going to edit the style. So I'm just going to go here and hit modify. Okay. And I'm going to give it a different name because if I don't, I'll get kind of confused. So I'm just going to call this one APA. Alright, doesn't really matter. Okay, now, right off the bat, you have to know a little bit about APA. And again, don't worry about the specifics of APA necessarily, because I'm supposed to be teaching you how to use Microsoft Word, but follow along. The font is supposed to be Times Roman. The size should be 12. Cool. So, right off the bat, I've got a lot of things pretty much well done. Line spacing is going to be different. This is a little button here. In APA world, everything is double spaced. Everything is double spaced. So this is a little thing for single space. That's like space and a half, and that's double space. So I'm just going to click on this guy. By the way, down here, you can see that this is what's going on. I mean, these are the things that I've been selecting. Cool? All right. So I've got Times New Roman 12 pitch is left, left justification, double spacing, and this part about widows and orphan control, don't worry about that. That's not all that important at this point. What is important is this thing right here, where it says only to this document, or all new documents based on this template. Well, unless all you did in the world was APA papers, don't click that guy. I mean, what we're doing is we're setting it up for this paper, okay? And then when this document is over and you're doing another document for some other purpose, it's not going to be trying to enforce APA rules on you, which is kind of dumb. Okay, we're almost there. But you know how we did a tab at the beginning of the first sentence in a paragraph, and it inferred that I wanted a half-inch indentation there? Remember that? Well, I'm not going to leave it to chance here. And instead, I'm going to go through here and do some minor tweaks to it. Here we go. Sorry. Down here, I can go in and tell a little bit more about paragraphs. So if I go to paragraph, it talks about indentation and special and spacing and all those kinds of things. Well, one of them is first line. And that's the one that I want. I want the first line to be indented by 1/2 inch. And it shows you down here what it's going to look like. So, okay, once again, this is the sample. So right now I have Times Roman 12 point. I have that first line indent set at 1/2 inch. Line spacing is double, and don't worry about the rest of it. So now I have modified the theme to do what APA wants me to do. Woohoo! Cool. So, if I wish to just start typing here, in fact, since I don't particularly like typing, I just got Mary Had a Little Lamb here, so I'm just going to grab it, because again, this really isn't about APA, it's about... So I'm just going to see how it automatically started with an indent. So if I paste this guy, and that's what it looks like. It comes out double spaced. Let's make this all one paragraph just for the heck of it. that it really matters. Okay, so now I have one paragraph, and notice how it's all double spaced. So tell me, remember how when we hit a return to tell the machine that we really were done with that paragraph from red, and it added a blank line? So if I hit a return here, is that one blank line or is that two blank lines? In other words, what is the rule for double space? Is that double space to include spaces? Or double space only for lines that have text? Well, you can tell it's double space for those lines. So there's really not two blank lines in here. In fact, I can't even select that line with the mouse because it's all taken care of for me. Cool? Alright, so we're almost there. We've got a lot of the requirements for our APA, and all we had to do was to go here and click this little guy. Kind of cool, huh? Alright, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a page header. Now, you've probably seen these where, across the top of the page it'll have, a company logo or something, and most likely you'll have like a page number, either a page number in the upper right hand corner or perhaps centered at the bottom, but somehow you have page numbers. And so that's what we're going to do here. So in order to do this in this document, I need to turn on the headers and footers, and there really isn't an on-off for turning on and off. It's an insert. So I'm inserting text into the headers and the footers. So it's under this insert tab. Now, I'll admit that's a little kind of odd place to basically turn on headers and footers, but hey, what the heck. So one of the things here, if I want to insert, is I can do a cover page, I can do a blank page, I can do all these cool things. Well, over here is header and footer. So I want to, and you can tell it's got the little down arrow thing again. We love the little down arrow thing because that means there's more to come. Alright, so I hit this guy, and it's going to say, what would you like? Now, there's several built-in templates for you, which is pretty doggone cool. And I actually need a type that has information in the left margin and information hugging the right margin. Well, it doesn't look like there's one like that. I don't really see one that's on one end and one that's the other end. So it just, well, kind of, sort of. That one's not bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick this one that has three things in it and just take the center one out. Okay? Cool. So I click this. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to ignore this guy. So I'm just going to delete him. And he is a special kind of thing here. Now, he's not normal text. And by the way, when you're in this view, you can't click in your document anywhere. Okay? You're stuck until you're done. So I'm just going to hit the delete key. He's gone. Now over here, because I created the modified theme first, it did the exact thing. It did exactly what I told it to do, which was start a new paragraph with the first line indented. It thinks this is the paragraph. Well, it's not a paragraph, obviously. So I need to kind of sort of undo that indentation for this line right here, because I don't want it starting at the 1 inch. I want it hugging this left margin. So if I go back to the home, and you have this little guy here, it talks about decrease indent. Well, let's just hit that button. You go, what the heck? How come it ain't? How come it ain't? Well, because it's already told what it was supposed to be, and there's no more to go. So we're going to do it by hand, and the way you do it by hand is you looking at this little ruler up here. Once again, I'm going to zoom in. All right, this ruler is a little weird. It's got 3 parts to it. It's got this little guy pointing down, this little guy pointing up, and then the little square guy. Okay, cool? Alright. So, if I put my mouse on the square and move, see how both of these guys move with me? Alright, the top and the bottom, the guy pointing up and the guy pointing down both move. Okay, cool. If I grab just this one, then I can make this one move independently. Alright, so what I want to do is I want to change that indent to make it go away. So all I'm going to do is just grab this first line indent guy and just drag him and drop him right here. Okay, so what I've done is I've manually undone the indent, because in this one particular scenario, it's not appropriate for an indent. Cool? All right. So at this part, this is where the title of your document goes. And the title of the document needs to, using APA format, should be in uppercase. Okay? So this is going to be, I don't know, some poem. That's going to be the name of this document. The title of the document is some poem. And so there we're good to go. Now over here, I want to insert where the page number would go. So I don't really want this text per se, so I'm just going to delete it with hitting the delete key. Doink. Cool. And now I'm going to go back to this insert guy. Remember when we had insert and we had header? I want to get all that stuff back. Well, here's the thing for page number. And what this will do is automatically add the page number, so I don't have to go through. You know, if you had a document that was 50 pages long, and you're halfway through and you go, oh man, you need to add a page in the middle, right? It'll automatically renumber everything, so you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so one of the page number options is, do I want it at the top of the page? No, I want to put it exactly where the cursor is right this very second. Okay, so I don't want it at the top, I don't want it at the bottom, don't want it at the margin, I want it the current position. Put it where I currently have the cursor, and where I have the cursor is where I deleted that little piece of text. So I say yes, that's what I want. And then you have a choice of, do I want just a plain number? Do I want it with the word page? No, just plain number is fine. Cool. Alright, I have now created a header. If I wanted to do a footer as well, I could, except in this case APA format doesn't require a footer. So you might think, okay, that's great, how do I get out? I mean, I'm stuck. I can't click anywhere except inside. Well, again, if you go back to this designer, one of these little guys over here is close the header and footer. That means I'm done with the header and footer and I'm ready to move on to going back to my document. Cool? Let's do this. Doink. Okay, now this is grayed out and I can't type in here anymore. And this is the part where I can type. So once you've set up that header and footer, it's going to stay with you and keep going and going and going. Cool? Okay. Alright, so we've inserted a page number and we've let's create a heading for my document. And so I'm just going to hit a carriage return to give me some room here. I'm going to go here and create me a heading, and this is going to be, I don't know, major heading. I mean, clearly this would be something else. And okay, here are the rules in APA. In APA, a major heading is basically it's centered and it's bold. Okay, so I'm just going to hit I lit up just the heading, and instead of going through this little routine where we did it all first, I'm going to do it after the fact. So I'm going to I'll tell it what I want. I want it centered and I want it bold. Okay, cool. So now it's centered and bold, but I don't want to have to do that every single time. So there's two ways you can create one of these styles. The way we did it originally was before we even wrote anything at all, we went in and modified the style. That's the one technique. The other technique is get things the way you like them and then tell the machine that's the style you want. Cool. So I'm going to click anywhere in here, alright? And then I can go up to here where we have heading 1. See where it says heading 1? And I can say upgrade heading to match the selection. Ooh, isn't that pretty cool? Alright, one more time. I light this guy up. I go to the heading and I say, in other words, alter the heading to match what I have already done. Doink. Okay. Isn't that pretty cool? Okay, this is a good place to stop for the 15-minute mark. We'll pick this thing up again in just a few.